This podcast is intended for entertainment purposes only. You must be 18 or older to listen and or subscribe. Anything we say should not be used to diagnose or treat any medical or psychiatric condition. Do not use anything heard on this podcast as a replacement for professional help or an attempt to diagnose yourself or anyone else. We are not licensed professionals. We are not here to treat you. Any similarities to any persons alive or deceased are purely coincidental. We will not be held responsible for any actions taken as a result of anything heard on this platform.
Okay. My mic.
Did you turn it on?
I did. Yeah, turn
mine's on now.
Okay,
yeah.
we're on mic on.
Yeah, let me put the headphones on, see if we can all hear each other. Tell everybody what we were just doing.
Yeah, repeat conversations
Yeah.
really quick.
We screwed up. We're like,
We
oh, we're not going to record
we just
this.
pre-gamed. That's all it was. Is we pre-gamed a little.
We did a foreplay.
We
what was the
foreplayed.
German word for foreplay?
I don't remember. That's a funny story. Hold on, let me put the headphones on.
Okay, welcome back to the campfire kinkiness
Come
of the
on,
fire.
can you
Just once.
around the
give it to us once.
Thanks for
I'm
downloading or tuning into Around the Kinky Campfire.
Yes,
With
Dame.
and
there's you.
You didn't come up with a name.
Yeah.
You,
Nope. This is
Oh,
Esme.
we caught him.
And finally,
Mr. Bubbles McKittyface.
McKitty Face.
There you go.
Aww.
Yeah.
I like that. But I like. I don't know. The biscuits one was good. But I like
that
McKitty.
biscuits one still is my favorite.
Is he
I think.
Bubbles or Kitty Face?
Mr.
now?
Bubbles.
Bubbles McKittyface.
I like McKitty Face.
And once again, I am drinking a Bang
I'm
Wild
sorry,
I
Watermelon.
haven't started drinking yet.
Yeah.
No one's still drinking.
It's still early.
Somebody still has walk.
I'm still
Aquafina.
drinking water.
Should we do a quick ASMR minute?
Ew, no. I mean, not ew. I like it when he does it.
I'm so glad I don't have my headphones on right now. That's my only saving grace is I can hear this, but at least not directly in my ear bone through my headphones.
How'd that sound?
It was great.
That was great.
It was
yeah?
great.
No, not
Quick
so
30
much.
seconds.
I have a big smile.
Yeah.
I'm the only one
I know.
drinking.
I know that sound.
Oh, yeah.
We like our sounds, I think. Yeah, that sound. I like
Mhm.
that sound. You do that later. I'll rinse off.
Yeah. Negotiations. Yeah.
I love it.
We just had a 20-minute conversation without the mics on, and
Yes.
we really
And
should have
so
just
we're gonna try to
About
recreate it.
negotiations.
flipped the mics on.
Yeah, so we've negotiated. When you hear that sound, that means it's okay to go.
It's go time.
It's go time. Go time.
Everything's
Let
ready
the
to roll.
teasing begin.
Everything's ready to roll.
So, what we were talking about before
It's
was
not a tease, that's a
negotiation.
warm-up. Okay, hold on. The German word.
No, it's
so
tease.
yeah, no, it's not a tease. It's a warm-up.
Could be.
You know it better than tease me. I don't think you... Actually, you still kind of do. sometimes.
Yes. Bite your butt and run away. That's what you do in the schoolyard, kids. I was definitely that kid in middle school. Pull the girl's
Okay,
hair
so
and
that
run
is
away.
not negotiating. Let's preference that one.
Oh, it's been
That is-
negotiated.
No, I'm saying to the general masses, that's not how you begin
Oh, that's not-
negotiation.
yeah,
is by
no.
biting their ass and running away.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
That's
See
how
if
you
they
do
follow,
it.
see if they grin.
But I do say when I'm first talking to somebody, I'm a big T, so you just have to deal with that.
I knew when I was that girl on
That's
the
something else we
playground
could talk about, too.
that was flirting. I knew that
Yeah.
was flirting when I was
I
on the
didn't.
play.
I didn't realize it until I was 20-something.
I was like, he's flirting.
He's flirting with you.
I didn't know. I
Pulled
didn't realize
my
until I was
hair.
Pulled your
20.
hair.
Oh.
Try
Yeah.
to push you to the ground. He's
Yup.
flirting.
That was my first demo.
Problem.
The master that was there is like, I was the kid that pulled the girl's hair, and I was like, oh, that was me too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's what that was.
That's what that was.
Oh man, I belong here.
Yes.
All right. So what's the
That's what
German
that
word
was.
for foreplay or
I
whatever
don't remember.
it was?
So here's the funny joke. I remember the.
Jokes and jokes.
I asked. I was drinking with the Germans, and I said, "Hey," and I was speaking German, and I was like, "Hey, you guys want to go pregame first?" And the literal translation in my head, pregame would be like vorspielen, which apparently means foreplay. But if you think of the word pregame, before, game, play, right? You know, vorspielen. Yeah. So I don't remember the word for
Almost
pregame.
sounds like
but
foreskin to me.
I
Sounded
sure.
like foreskin.
Foreskin.
No,
Yeah.
Spiel. Like you play
Spiel.
board games, you know,
Foreskin.
Spiel. Spiel des Jahres or whatever.
Sure. Foreskin.
Play it means game of the year.
Game of the
So
game of the year.
Spielen is
Oh.
to play.
I think that's the game of the year. Game of the
Foreplay is the game of the year.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Spiel. He plays
Board
board
game
games.
of the
They always
lifetime.
have a German.
I
Whatever.
don't,
A lot of
I
board
don't
games
know.
are German.
Spiegelhassen or
No,
whatever.
Spiel is.
Okay, so
Game.
we are still on the boat
Game.
for this one. We're going to talk about foreplay and
Also, Spiel is
foreskin.
play.
And
No, we're not.
happy Turkey Day. This is the couple weeks after Turkey Day.
Dude, you
Yeah.
pigeonhole yourself. This is a foul conversation.
Wow.
I know. Ooh.
Oh, that first wow! We didn't get any wows last time.
I know.
We didn't get any wows last time.
None. A whole
one
episode
hurt.
with none.
That one hurt.
Yeah.
You keep
Somebody's
freaking
learning.
pigeonholing yourself
What
by
is that about?
telling people when this stuff's going to be released. If you wanted to
Yeah.
release this in January, now you
No,
couldn't.
no. We're doing this. I
Whatever,
have the schedule
wiener.
as the producer
Oh my god.
and the equipment provider and all
You
the
know
other
what? You might
things.
want to swap episodes
No,
or something.
no. This is I want to do because I want to say Merry pre-Christmas.
It's my birthday.
It might be
in 10 days,
Kwanzaa
too.
next week
Hanukkah.
or something. Hanukkah, yeah, just a couple weeks before Christmas.
Or just winter holiday.
Winter holiday. Oh, we're doing the what we
I'm
call
just
it.
saying.
Yeah,
There could be people out there that
Winter
it's just
holiday.
a winter holiday.
we can do that in January too. Winter
Yeah.
holiday. Yeah.
It's whatever you like.
But
man.
anyways, whatever you are, we don't care as long as you listen. You come with your questions and opinions. We don't
Yeah.
always take them. And they're
we'll
not
listen
facts.
to you. We'll listen
We
to you.
give you your
because-
opinions. You can give us ours,
You listen
but
to us.
because
Yeah.
we've listened to us.
Yeah.
we're not. Yeah, we listen.
We'll
We
listen to you
listen to
because you
us,
listen
and
to
then
us. We
we
listen
don't.
to us.
You know, if you have a opinion you don't want to change, we really don't care. So we're just here to. I'm here to pass on
Evident in the
information.
last episode.
Carryover
Yeah.
from the last episode.
I'm
so
here to
this is
pass on information, so I don't care.
the next episode.
And-
We're still on the boat. We are on a cruise right now
Yes.
with some of our kinky friends, and
Still
you know,
16,000 feet above water, apparently. Or the
We're-
ocean.
no,
Not
that's
above water,
that's an
above
airplane.
ground, above ground.
That's an airplane.
Yeah.
Above the sea floor.
It's neither of those, guys. The water's 16,000 feet deep here.
Yeah, it's been
The
a long
boat-
trip. I'm tired.
Yeah, you're tired. We're all tired.
And we
yeah.
brought up negotiation.
Yeah. So
Yes.
we started talking before.
Do we negotiate our hiking trip yesterday?
No,
Into the
we
falls.
evidently did not. Well, okay, we did. It's not that we didn't negotiate our hiking trip. Is I evidently did not properly negotiate how to get down, because
Whoops.
that was the more difficult part of all of that, which we
Yes.
will not disclose all
Real
of
quick,
that
no,
information.
Oh, we
once
walked
we
up-
do social media, you guys will get pictures and video and everything.
We
Oh.
hiked up to a waterfall yesterday in the Dominican Republic
Dominican
to
Republic.
either jump off or slide down the waterfall off
into
the
some
side,
murky water.
or maybe take the ladder.
Yeah. So
That's
great.
all.
That's all.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
So speaking of
nothing to see here.
negotiations,
You
yes.
fill in the gaps.
Yeah, there you go. 40-minute
my titty.
hike.
So my question was, with negotiations, are we talking about negotiating scenes? Are we talking about negotiating relationships? Like, what is it that we're negotiating?
Oh, you
Sex?
got triggered by something.
and
That's
you
where it
got
came from.
triggered by
I don't want to say
listening
triggered
to a
like
show. And
So, like we were talking about in our last episode, we had a comedian on the boat talking about choking, and he was in a situation in which I think a lot of comedians talk about this, about middle of and just meeting up with quote unquote freaky women, and I've had personal experiences where you're having sex with somebody new. Ish, and you haven't really negotiated everything because you're just happy to get sex. You're single, getting sex, and the person you're talking to either wants to pull your hair or choke you or get choked, and you just kind of go along with it because your pee-pee's getting wet.
but you were
Or
saying
the
how it
cobwebs
kind
getting out
of
your
like
cooch.
you mentally it bothers
I
you
gotta go
because
take a
in
walk.
your mind you didn't negotiate those things.
Yes.
And my explanation is there's going to be a very distinct difference between kinky sex and vanilla sex, because in the vanilla sex world you negotiate as you go along. Like, so if somebody's like doing something you don't like, you kind of push them to the side or be like, I'm not into that, and you keep going because guess what? You're finally getting the sex. Because you don't want to jinx getting the sex because you don't get it that often.
Hold on, what did you call it again?
Cleaning out the cooch. Did you
Cleaning
turn your
out the
mic on?
cooch.
What was the other one?
Knocking out the spot. Knocking
Getting your
out the
pee-pee wet.
Getting your pee-pee wet.
Getting your pee-pee wet.
Yes. You hadn't heard that one? We've lost Esme, by the
she's
way.
gone.
She's
Get your pee-pee
done.
wet.
She's
Yes. So you're just happy to get it in. Also, on the flip side, other times
So,
it happens
yeah.
is not negotiating, using protection. So
Yeah.
I've been with drunken people, and then like I can't find a condom. Let's just keep going. And it's
Yeah,
like,
no, that's not
whoa!
happening.
Or they
now,
tried
we
to
can
slide
do
the condom
other
off.
things. We can do other
Oh.
They
things
tried
that
to slide
don't
the condom off.
require a condom, but we're
Why
not
put
going to
it
do that
on?
one thing.
Why put it on in the first place? That's what they're gonna do then.
Just try to slide it off. Yeah.
No, but so what I was saying before is that I
Yikes.
think being in the kink world, we take for granted about the fact that we over negotiate, we over communicate
100%.
about everything. So to us, it's perfectly normal to negotiate sex because we already negotiate everything. In the vanilla world, if I was to go out and meet Bar Guy, and me and Bar Guy are going to go have
Infamous Bar
fun,
Guy.
the infamous Bar Guy.
Actually, roulette guy now.
Roulette guy at this point.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope. I'm working on that one.
Yep.
If I go out to roulette guy and we come back here knowing exactly what we're coming back here for a purpose, right? We're not negotiating on the way over here because I have no problem, and it's expected, in vanilla sex that you negotiate as you go. If somebody goes to do something to you, if he went to put his hands around my neck, I would take them off and say, no, don't do that to me. I have no problem explaining later, but I'm not stopping sex because I feel like I haven't negotiated.
Here's my deal. I was thinking about this, and I actually am more apt now to negotiate having sex and how much we're gonna have, or are we just gonna fool around a little bit and no sticky the pee-pee and the wetness.
You're not going to get your pee-pee wet?
Yeah, not
So-
that. Like blowjobs are okay, going down's okay, no sex.
Okay.
I'm more likely to negotiate that now after having been in the kink community and recognizing, I can negotiate that, and I don't feel the scarcity so much anymore that I
Speaking of
don't
scarcity.
actually have to have sex with somebody.
From the
I
question,
didn't negotiate that early in my life,
Mhm.
and now I'm like, so I now will negotiate sex because I don't want to have sex that I regret.
so from
True.
question
yeah,
from
and
the,
I don't do the hookup thing anymore.
Anymore.
That I used to,
Right.
yeah, but now I feel gross.
But let me
so-
ask you
Question-
this. Wait a minute. I'm going to ask this. Do you feel that way? Because, and here's a problem I'm having with navigating the poly world. So I'm going to just attach this to that. Is I am finding that people that have a constant source have the privilege to be able to be that way because they have a constant source. Where if you were just singleton over here like me, like hoping for a Mr. Roulette guy, I might not be as like willing to be like, I'm perfectly okay with just oral because I don't know when I'm going to have sex again.
I don't need sex that much. So I would rather, if I just feel like kind of
speaking from the land of
somebody,
plenty over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will fully say, as somebody that's not single in the land of plenty, I take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Advantage
easy
of
for
what?
you. And that's like
having a constant source and being able to negotiate the hell out of shit.
Yeah. Where I have entered negotiations with, like, say, a couple.
I don't understand what you
Well,
mean, but okay.
I'm with a guy who says married. Well, he's got a constant source. So he might be able to be more picky about what he negotiates and what
is that
he's
what you
willing
mean?
to do with me because he doesn't have to worry about where his sex is coming from because I'm not his only source of possible sex.
Is that what you
Where
mean?
100%
me,
true.
on the other hand,
Okay.
I don't have a source of possible sex.
That's what you mean.
So I'm not going to necessarily nitpick what we do to death beforehand because I don't want to talk you out of it.
Exactly.
I want my options open, and then as we're doing the options, I can be like, no, I'm not into that today, or no, don't do that right now.
So, as a male question from the land of scarcity.
Okay.
If you're in the middle of sex and you tell the person, no, I don't want you to choke me.
Right.
Is there ever a fear that sex might stop at that point?
100%.
There is a fear that sex might stop, but if that's why it stops, I'm okay with it.
I'm not. I would have 100%
Okay.
just let it
if
go.
he says, if he
Opinion
tries
from
to,
the
wait a
man
minute,
of-
if
in
he tries
scarcity?
to choke me and I'm like, no, don't do that, and he stops having sex with me because I said no, I'm okay with the sex stopping, because obviously you have a problem with boundaries, and if I
Yes.
just let you keep going and you try again, now we have a bigger problem.
Yeah.
So if you're willing to stop because I won't do that, that's a you thing and not a me.
Ooh. Opinion from the man when he was in scarcity. I would 100% would have went along with it just because I'm scared that sex wouldn't happen again.
Same. Me too. That they leave me. Yeah,
Yeah,
same.
I would've went
I'm
with
with
it,
you.
yeah.
Yep, same.
Yeah.
I would
Single-
do ridiculous
single,
ass
uh,
things.
And this
to
is
keep
coming
me.
from the land of I don't know when I'm getting again. And I would, because, well, to me, certain things are very hard limits for me. I don't
I
let
had no
anybody
hard
put their
limits.
I don't let anybody put their hands on my neck. I don't care how good the sex
Crossing
is.
a
It's
hard
not
limit.
happening. Now, if you go to smack
Yeah,
my
crossing
ass
hard
while we're
limits.
having sex, is it my go-to thing? No, but can I enjoy it because it's what we're doing? Yes. So to me, it's about what is it?
Ooh, this brings up a different discussion. Even before sex, I don't allow biting or touching of my ass, but new people
We'll
before
grab your ass in sex, like without
No,
thinking.
not even before. Not even before sex.
Oh.
Like we can be on a date and they just
And touch
playfully.
your ass?
Yeah, oh, I have friends do that too.
Yeah.
Before the negotiation, I will let it slide because we haven't had the conversation. That's what I'll say.
If they keep doing it, it's a problem.
Well, then we'll have the conversation. I'll be like, don't do this before we have the conversation. Or I'll meet new people and then like don't realize what kind of like top I am, and they'll do. It's like you should wait until we have the conversation.
Yeah.
Turn the brattiness off because we're not going to do that now until we
Right.
have the discussion. But yes, as a man in scarcity times, I would have just went along with certain things in the middle of sex because I was scared. So
Yeah.
You and I have
more
never
props
had
to
the
you
discussion.
for just being cool with stopping it. I
We've never had that
cried.
discussion.
Probably cried. Okay.
No,
what
I'm
was I
not
talking
saying
about?
I was enthusiastic
About touching your butt.
stopping it.
Yeah,
I'm not
but I'm just
excited.
saying-
and
no,
if
it's
we
just-
and my thing is if we stop it and we talk and talk out whatever it was that was like pissing me off or made me say no, and I fully believe they understand why, even if they don't agree with it, but they understand it, and then we continue, I'm okay. But I'm also okay with not continuing. But I'm okay giving them the option of, let's talk about this. Okay, obviously we need to stop something. Let's talk about this. Are we capable of moving on? I'm open to moving on as long as there's full understanding why I stopped it.
Yeah, land of scarcity, man. It's a little bit.
Even though I
different.
don't know when I'm getting it again.
Yeah, but yeah, back to your previous thing about an abundance. I fully take advantage of that, and we'll over negotiate the hell out of stuff. So, yeah,
Yeah, it sucks on the other end. It really does, because to me, I don't know how else to use, but we're like, you're coming from a place of privilege, because I can't control your source of sex. You know, I am not the only one, and I
That
know
seems kind
it.
of manipulative.
Well, because of the word control.
Because
Manipulative on which end?
even if you don't have any other partners, you still have the opportunity to negotiate the hell out of something. And if they want to leave, they want to leave. Why not? I don't mean with you. I mean
Yeah.
with him.
Yeah.
You got multiple partners. Now you can like negotiate the hell out of something. Like, but you could have done that if you were single too.
Yeah.
And they could just leave. And it's like, okay, there's scarcity. Well, you know, you needed to set your boundaries.
Well, I know that now as being an experienced poly person in the kink. I didn't realize it back before I was poly, but now I do it now. But I also have the advantage of being a male, cisgendered, straight-ish male dating women because they're objectified the hell. At least this is what I hear from them, that they're happy that somebody actually talked to them about
Yeah.
these things because you just get objectified all the time. And
Valid.
So, yeah, they're 100% like, okay, yes, we can talk about this because you don't
But
want
I
to
think
just
that
jump into
there's,
bed.
for people who might be listening to the podcast that aren't in the kinky world and have not navigated the community and have all the experience that, say, people like us do in the community, there is going to be a distinct difference between what you feel like is negotiated in vanilla world, vanilla sex, vanilla dating, and what negotiation is in the kink world or even in the poly world. You know, it's going to, if I was to meet roulette guy and strike up a conversation with roulette guy and then be like, hey, would you like to have sex? Can we talk about that and what it would look like, and start going through all the things that I would like or not like, he would walk away
Roulette
thinking
guy
I'm
means
like,
meeting a random guy at a bar. So that's
like,
a code.
yeah. So he would probably walk the fuck away and be like it's just a hookup. It's not that deep.
Yeah.
That's vanilla. No, that's vanilla world.
Have you experienced that
ta-
before?
Yes. You
Oh,
don't.
yeah.
You don't talk about deep shit like that with somebody you're just trying to hook up with.
I've had people like break a date off, break off.
It's
like
too
we've-
deep for a
we've
first
already,
date.
Oh no, I've had people break off like a possible, continuing dating relationship, whatever you want to call it, or just even having sex because I got too
serious too quick.
not even too quick, but just for them.
Yeah. Well, just like you came to me and
Instead
asked
of being
me,
like,
you
hey,
know,
let's-
why
I don't
have
wanna
you
talk
not
about that.
had
Just
why
dump me.
why have you not had these conversations with this person that I've talked to you about? Why have you not had these? And I try to explain to you because I don't want to freak them out. You start having conversations that are perceived as too personal, too deep, too quick.
They'll dump you.
Then they'll dump you because you're crazy.
That's
like
scarcity,
you're
though.
clingy.
Let 'em.
You're all that.
Let them. Now I'm in that
Because
opinion.
In the vanilla
Let 'em.
world, when you are only on a first date or you're only hooking up or things of that nature, you're not in that talking stage, then anything beyond surface is personal and deep, and that's not what we're here for.
I've hit the point where I realized that me holding my tongue about anything, even if I do sound clingy to somebody else, I will let them leave now. I don't
Yeah.
care if they dump me. I don't care how long we've been together. I will never hold my tongue again. ever.
But for the sake of the listeners, you will need to be able to switch your mind.
That's cool.
From
Yeah, you'll
a
have to.
vanilla
It's very hard.
world
No,
to
from
a
a world
kink
of
world,
scarcity.
from a world of scarcity. Well, even just to
And
the
just
fact
be
that-
okay with, like, you're going to get dumped maybe. But you know what? Fuck them.
But in the kink world, when you're crossing over talking to kink people or poly people, there is going to be a level of expectation to have those deep conversations and to ask those hard questions early.
Yeah, it's actually okay. We want
And
you
they
to.
want it and they need it. And that if you don't, they start looking at you like, well, how serious are you? Like, do you understand what you're getting into? And it's the complete opposite
It is
effect
it's the opposite.
than the vanilla world.
We'll think you're weird if you don't have
Yeah.
those conversations.
I haven't talked to too many vanilla people, but have you, so when you told me that, I don't know if I asked the question or not. Have you ever talked about putting a pin in certain things?
Yes, with people that I'm in a talking stage too. So maybe it's too deep. Maybe we're not in a position because there are certain conversations I will have over text and certain conversations I will only have in person.
Okay. That's the
And
point.
so-
There's a pin in it, but it's like, okay, I understand the pin. When is it okay to talk about? And will you bring it up or will I?
When would you like to have this conversation?
We're not talking about that now. Okay. When?
Right.
If you never
And to
get the
me,
when,
that's
you're
because
fucked.
that's because of the type of conversation and where are we when we're trying to have it. If it just randomly gets brought up and we're in a place where it's like we're only texting or we're social and we can't have a deep conversation because it's weird to have it in a social environment, then like, hey, can we talk about this when we leave? Can we talk about this on the car ride home? Or can we talk about this when we can actually sit in front of each other and have a conversation and not leave it to text and interpretation, because we know how all that goes. And so, yes, you can put a pin in it as long as you know exactly when you're coming back to it, so it doesn't feel like it's just getting brushed off and then like ignored.
And see, so from personal
See
experience,
my eyes tearing? I shut my mic off. Now I'm lost for a little while because that's big problem.
want to
Yeah.
mute your headphones too? So for me, in my personal experience, talking to people, usually when I do a negotiation, I bring up something like that. It could be like a longer term thing, like, oh, I never even thought of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, okay, so when you want to become serious, I'll be like, we can talk about this, this, and this.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, for these first times, I'm just trying to get to know you, make sure
Right.
you're not crazy.
Right.
But yeah, this
Or
is
at least you're my level of crazy.
yeah. We can, as long as
There
we're
is no
crazy
such
together.
thing
and
as
stuff,
not crazy.
Yeah.
It's just what level are you
we can
my
have
level?
we can have that whole conversation
Yeah.
too, because I hear that all. I'm weird. I'm like, you don't know what my definition of weird is.
Yeah.
What anything you've done isn't that weird. Otherwise, I tell you, I have no problem telling you.
Right.
But yeah, so before even anything happens, the first second date is just trying to see if you're crazy or not.
Mm-hmm.
How crazy are you, and what we have the same kind of crazy. But I'll have conversations and be like, when you want to become serious, we're going to talk about this, this, and this. We're going to put a pin in it now because it's kind of early. But yeah, after
Talk
and
about
I
what?
let them figure out how serious you want to be about this.
Mm-hmm.
From my land of abundance.
Right. But also, just like we were talking about before, is say you meet somebody and you're talking the first week or two and you're chit-chatting, it's natural to do the flirty thing, like, oh, do you like this? Oh, well, what do you like in bed? Or where's the craziest place you've ever had sex? Like all those leading questions that you use to get to other questions. That's not negotiation. That's flirting. That's getting to know somebody. So in the vanilla world, that's just what it is. But you can't use that as saying, oh, well, when we were talking, you said you loved having your hair pulled during sex. So why are you pissed off that I'm pulling your hair during sex? Well, but that wasn't negotiating. That was just info. That was just sharing experiences. That didn't mean I was okay with you in this situation to do it. You have to not confuse conversation and negotiation. Negotiation should have intent. You should both know that that's what you're doing, is you're negotiating a thing, not just randomly talking about it, sharing opinions and experience with it. Those are two different things. And the room went quiet.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of when I actually do that now. I literally only flirt with stuff I see on their profile.
But that's not negotiating.
That's correct.
That's just conversation.
That's correct.
And so I think it's a very distinct difference that people should know is, yes, have the flirty conversations, talk about the things that you like, talk about your experiences, but don't confuse that with the fact that you negotiated with these people about what will or won't happen when you get together.
That's correct. No other counter opinions here. I mean, we're on the same page at that point.
Now I was going to be like, so what exactly do you mean? Like when people are going to meet your friends or when you're going to start taking vacations?
Hey.
So that's why I just shut my mic off. It's not about kink. Mine's about relationship shit.
Yeah, who wants to know? Yes, I negotiate all of that. So I don't even know if I have. I don't even know if we have foreplay.
Yeah,
in here.
see, that's why I'm like, nah, mic's off now. No,
you know, people could hear all that clicking.
I don't care. I mean, I care for their sake, but I don't care for whatever.
This is all for their sake.
Yeah, I only care for their sake. You
but
guys
yes,
understand.
so I can't...
When I get triggered about something, and I'm gonna like deep dive into old relationship shit.
There's not really any. There's no counterpoint here
because
what you
make
make
up because you say you negotiate everything, but then when specific things get brought up, it's brought up that no, we didn't negotiate that. We talked about it.
He means, yeah.
So
it's
to
not
me,
just
that's
talking about
why
kink. He's talking about relationship stuff, like
I'm
when you're going to
differentiating between.
No. I thought negotiate kink too.
And conversation.
I know too, but what you're specifically talking about is like when you're going to meet their friends.
Yeah.
When they're going to meet your friends, or when you're going to go on like trips and that kind of stuff. Like, we're not.
That's boyfriend girlfriend negotiation.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
But when you're saying we talked about, doesn't mean it happened though. That's what I'm saying. Only stuff that's been negotiated actually happens. If something is like talked about in like foreplay type thing, it doesn't mean it's going to happen. It was like we needed to negotiate that later.
Yeah. Whose responsibility is it to bring up?
Both. Anytime. If I'm taking the lead, which is most of the people I attract, I have to take the lead. I'm like, we're not going to do anything unless we actually talk about it. So there's no in the middle of this. Oh yeah. By the way, this is going to happen.
But and you also don't pick up roulette people.
Yeah.
So there's a distinct difference between the realm that you navigate in and sometimes the realm I navigate in. Is I have no problem picking up a roulette person if the time and the place is right and the energy is right.
But I feel you, because I agree with you. Once you start talking about like the serious stuff, they'll walk away. So that's another reason why I don't do it. Because I'm like, I need to have this conversation.
But that's not true, because you just gave me shit a couple days ago about not having the serious conversations with somebody that I've only talked to and been on 2 dates with.
Yeah, he's not a roulette person, though. You're actually trying to talk to them.
Right, but still, by a second date...
What serious stuff do you mean that you don't talk about with new people?
Friends conversation. I'm not...
you're not trying to have a relationship with somebody. You're just trying to fuck.
That's the boyfriend-girlfriend talk. No.
But he doesn't ever talk to somebody to just fuck.
Yeah, that's dating.
Oh, fucking is dating.
Fucking
remember?
To him is
Quote,
dating.
dating.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's
to
long-term
me,
potential.
There's fucking and then there's dating.
Yeah.
Those are two different things.
Before I even do the fucking, it's like, is this long-term potential or is this just a short-term thing? I'm like, I don't do short-term. This is long-term potential. We don't have to be serious, but it's going to be long-term.
Yeah. You ask him. Ask him.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so you're saying it doesn't have to be serious, but it has to be long-term.
Yes.
So what's the difference between fucking and casual?
What's the difference between serious and long-term?
Serious and long-term. Serious and long-term. Serious is meeting friends, vacations.
Using the boyfriend-girlfriend title?
Using the boyfriend-girlfriend title. Yeah. I don't have...
That's serious.
Yes, that's
Casual
serious.
Casual is what then?
You hanging
went out with your girl, on the boat, and all this, and you're like, she met your friends, but then you said to me, "Oh no, but it's not that serious." Spent the whole weekend with her, and she met his friends and all this, and then he goes, "Yeah, but it's not that serious."
Who are you talking about?
You know who I'm talking about. Fruit pie.
Oh,
it was 3.5 years ago, but I don't give a shit.
But it's not.
Times. But it's not that serious.
But my thing is, so
that's why I shut my mic off.
What's the difference? Like, so if they're casual but they are long term, then what's the difference between casual and serious?
Casual and serious. So there is pre-talks. There is casual where you're fucking long term. Everything is long term after the fucking starts.
What's long term? 3 months, 6 months, 1 week? What's long term?
It can be forever. Long term.
But what's the minimum to be required long term?
There's no minimum.
Well, then what's the difference between long-term and short-term?
Okay, I'm going to tell you. These are what I'm going to tell you. There's no short-term. Okay. Shit. Anyways, we got announcements going, and we're just going to ignore them.
Because we're on the cruise
ship.
Okay,
so for me, there is pre-talks where there's nothing sexual happening. And then we have the conversation whether it's just going to be play partners with no sex or long-term casual. Play partners with no sex, you got that one? That's pretty simple? Okay. Long-term casual with sex is we are building towards something. Like They usually, in my
But then
case,
that negates the purpose of it being casual.
there's not no. Because casual is we're not gonna be like meeting people. There's not too many like sleepovers. There's no friends. There's no trips,
vacations.
There's no like, hey, let's check in. Let me see what you're doing. All this stuff. And specifically, they use protection with random people, but they're nobody serious. That as far as they're in, I don't care what they're doing. You do what you do. That's the casual.
So you know
part
those
of it.
are friends with benefits.
Yeah, pretty close. But there is but friends with benefits for me would be like, hey, when we're doing this, okay, bye, see you later. No, for me, casual is like, hey, you have kids. Your kids are doing. How's your ex doing? How's work doing? We actually have conversations.
I do that with my friends with benefits.
I don't do that with friends. I don't give a fuck what you're doing. I really do not care.
That to me, that's just
Yeah, to you.
a human interaction.
No.
Oh,
Nope. Friends
Okay.
with nope. This is why I say long term, because there's actually building. There's some kind of commitment. If your dog dies,
Yeah, for the
I'll
record,
cr-
what
I'll
he's
cry
saying,
with
I
you.
consider that casual, not friends with benefits.
okay.
yeah.
All
I don't. If it's there's
Friends,
very
it's
little.
like, hey, you want to
communication.
catch a movie, and they are my friend, and then you not have sex. Or,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
you want to catch a movie,
Actual
and then you
dating.
just happen to like
Actually,
go out and have
yeah.
sex. That's friends with benefits.
Actually going on dates. Let's go to a haunted house together. That's what it is. Friends
That's
with benefits.
casual.
That's casual. Friends. If I did.
You don't
friends
do
with,
things outside of the bedroom with friends
Correct.
with benefits.
Correct.
Okay,
That's
I
all it is.
gotcha.
Whose
All right.
house we going to?
It's just whose
And
house.
I'm not talking about anything. I don't give a fuck about your work. I don't give a
Right.
fuck about your dog.
Okay.
And then that's why I say long term, because it actually this is why I can't do casuals or the like super like random sex, because it'll be 2 minutes. I don't
Right.
but so when I say long term, there's like investment there.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get to the serious, the boyfriend or girlfriend, I'm like, hey, you can't be doing the random people. You can't do that, because I like to do certain things with my girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when trips start going. I'll invite you to parties, because if you meet my friends, then we are serious.
We're serious.
I do not let them know who you are. I barely say your name. They don't know who you are. Yeah.
That's
So-
the in right there. Is you've met my friends. I've brought you out in public with me
I'll
to
Yeah.
my
talk
friends'
about
things.
you when you're not there with
Right.
my friends. Hey, how's
Right.
what's
They
your
know
name
who you
doing?
are.
They know
They
who you
know
are.
who you are. You've
Yeah.
met them.
There-
Yeah.
Okay.
You're one of my friends, buddy.
I'm one of your friends,
If you meet them, you know. So that's the difference there. I can't do friends with benefits. I
But
just don't
each
give a
one
fuck.
of those stages is for you a specific negotiation.
Yes.
So you are not, and this is one of the things you and I kind of are different on. Is I'm more of an organic person. I like things to build organically. I don't feel the need to have to sit down and have a conversation specifically about something for it to happen. I'm more of a, if it comes up organically, let's deal with it when it comes up. Instead, to me, having those conversations like that seems so forced.
I just realized why we never had that conversation. We have the same friend group.
Yeah.
We never had to.
Yeah. Well,
We've
you met
always-
other friends. You met other friends.
Yeah, that was a little different, I guess.
Where
but
you feel to go through the different stages,
Yes.
you specifically
You know-
will not switch in your mind the stage the person is in unless you have had a conversation about
Negotiation.
it.
correct.
Because I don't
Which
know.
is why
and
the
this
difference between when I
Yeah.
said we started dating and when
And
he says we
him.
started
Well,
dating.
we
because-
can get a whole episode about what actually happened. But for me,
Let's not.
I don't know about you. I don't know if it's a man or a woman thing, but in my case, I've always had the thing, and I hate it because it's the biggest regret of mine. I always get, well, I didn't think you would like that. It's like, motherfucker, we could have talked about this 6 months ago.
Right.
Oh, mine's I didn't think I was allowed to ask. Like you said
Yeah.
no
We had
6
that
months
thing.
ago, and I didn't know I was supposed to ask again. Like, do you like it now?
I hate
Like
that.
once you got an answer, you didn't continue to
Exactly.
ask.
To me, a
Yeah.
no is a no. Don't
Right.
push the issue.
and
Right.
then so that happened with us, and every
Can I
relationship
touch your
had
butt?
that.
No. And I was like, okay, I'm never going to
then
do
you're
it.
Never gonna
That's
touch
it.
your butt. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like
Why would I
touching
ask
feet,
again?
like no.
No.
There's people that do that.
That
and it's
I'll-
like that's a
that
fire
I'll-
offense.
Yeah.
But every relationship I had since then, it was like, oh, I didn't think I was going to get this much time. We didn't.
You didn't ask.
You didn't ask.
So if you're fine with that and letting it happen, I hate that the most. I have trauma from that. That's why
See,
I always talk about it.
I don't like over
Do
negotiate.
you
I
have
like
trauma
things
from that?
happening.
Yes.
I like things.
Can we hear
happening
about that?
organically?
I don't know.
Because I like to see where it's going instead of like. Okay,
I'm that way too, which is why
I've been
this
on
is
2
hard.
dates with you,
This
and
has been
so
tough.
before we go on a 3rd date, we need to sit down and have this conversation.
Yeah,
Because if
no.
somebody tried that with me, I'd be looking at them going, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like, no, I don't owe you a sit down conversation. Like, if we want to go to dinner and talk about something over dinner, we can do that, but like, it doesn't need to be this formal thing. And my first response is, why can't we just let this happen organically and see where it goes? Because it might work its own way out. And then, and just like I told you before, why would I sit down and try to, in my mind, manipulate this person into having this very serious conversation with me that they might not want to have, when in 3 weeks we might not be compatible anymore and we have worked our way out of the relationship and we put ourselves through this for nothing.
I don't know.
I put myself through having an emotional, heartfelt, deep personal communication conversation with somebody that ultimately doesn't matter in the end.
I've asked people like, hey, we've been going on a lot of dates and, we've been together dating for a few months. Is it okay if I tell people you're my boyfriend?
Now that's
the conversation I
never surprise
have.
somebody with a title.
I don't. Yeah, I ask
think
about
titles
that.
should
And
be
what do you
talked
call
about.
me? Like, are you okay calling me your girlfriend? Do you want to start doing that? Is that okay? That's the conversation. to
Okay,
me.
so what
That
you're saying,
I agree with.
I've done
what
that.
you're saying
You and
gives
I
me
did
heart palpitations. Ugh.
Oh yeah, he shut the mic
So-
off now, so I want to hear about this.
No, so my question is, okay, here's a hypothetical. You're talking to somebody vanilla. It's been 6 months. What's your favorite, random question, what's your favorite, like, activity? Sexual, kinky, whatever.
Bondage.
Bondage. So you're talking to somebody vanilla, and you haven't talked about any negotiations. You let it happen naturally.
We've just been vanilla relationship.
Yes.
Okay.
A year later, they like, you know what? I would have liked to try bondage.
Okay, let's try it now.
You
I
would
don't
have
care
no
about
problem
the last year.
6
Because evidently the last year's been good enough to get us where we are. So if this is something you're comfortable now bringing to the table, because maybe it took you a year to get comfortable to bring this to the table with anybody, okay, now let's talk about this now and move from here forward.
But you would
I'm
have
not
thrown it in the conversation before then?
Well, I probably
Might not
knowing
have thought
me-
of it.
Knowing me, I probably would have alluded to it because I don't hide my kink life. So but that's their comfort level. You're managing their comfort level. Because what if they had their own traumas with it and it took them a year to get comfortable with
sometimes
you?
I just don't realize. I see where the trauma comes from with you. Sometimes I don't realize that I might want to do it, and then also I think this is where it comes from. I don't realize that he wouldn't like freak the fuck out and be like, no, why would you even ask me that? And so I'm too afraid to ask.
They might have had partners in the past where, and I've had guys tell
like,
me,
hey, you
this.
like pegging?
Yes.
He might be like, no,
might
we're never
love-
doing that. But then he might want me to
love
ask him
pegging.
again 6 months later, and I'd be like, I didn't think you liked
That's
this
a
because you
perfect
said you didn't
example.
like that.
Right. That's a perfect example. Let's
Hey,
bring
can I
up
put my
pegging
thumb in your
with
butt?
men.
No. Oh, I never asked about pegging because you said you don't like my thumb in your butt. Oh, well, it's different. Like, why would I think I could put something in your or enemas or whatever?
If I'm 2 months into dating a guy and I bring up pegging, a vanilla guy, let's take kink out of it and say maybe they're kink friendly or kink aware, but they're not like in the lifestyle like I am, right? Which is going to be 90% of the men that I meet online. And I bring up, I really love pegging. 100% of the time, they're going to be like, yeah, no, never done it. Not for me. Like, cool that you do it, but no. Now, a year later, they come to me and go, so remember that time you brought up that is because sometime in their past or multiple times in their past, they have brought it up and women have ridiculed them. They have embarrassed them. They have humiliated them. They have emasculated them. And so they have to have such a deep level of trust and connection with somebody to even acknowledge it within themselves and bring it up, that their first instinct's going to be no because of all of the experiences that they had before.
Mine's that way with the same partners, though. It's like they had such an adverse the same partner had such an adverse reaction to something similar. I'm like,
Right.
well, I'm never talking about
Well,
anything
and so
around
I'm not
this
going to
again.
bring it up again if I got that reaction. But if they bring it up to me an hour late, or like a year later, and would be like, "Hey, what do you think about this now?" Now
You're not
I
going to be
am
mad
gonna
about
be
it. You're going to be like,
curious.
cool. Oh.
I'm gonna be like, why now? What's changed? I
Yeah.
have asked the question, what's changed?
You.
And 9 times out of 10, they'll say, because I'm comfortable with you. I realize that you're not going to treat me this way. I'm not going to dwell on the past. I'm going to take that moment and move completely to the future.
So when you brought it up, that's flirting to you or negotiations?
Flirting.
Flirting.
That's me testing the waters to see how they react.
Yes, same.
Okay, so you do that on a regular.
Yes, I will
Okay.
always. I use testing the waters and flirting to avoid having the serious conversations because people will react differently to flirting than they will a serious conversation.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I flirt a lot more than I do.
bring up a lot
yeah.
of the hard stuff
Yeah.
as a flirt, or be like, "Oh my god, my friend loves this thing."
Yeah.
And it might not even be
I've
a
always
friend
wanted
that's
to try
real.
it or whatever. Just
It could be an
randomly.
imaginary friend
Yeah.
with an imaginary thing. But if I'm like, oh yeah, my god, my friend loves this thing, and just to see their reaction, their visceral reaction to it, that tells me where in this conversation we're going. Because I'd be like, oh, you've never tried, like they have that icky scowl on their face.
Yeah,
I'd be
then you're like, nope. guess
oh,
not.
you've never tried it, and then I could never, and then I will drop it. I will not keep bringing it up. But if they bring it up later, now that they're comfortable with me, game on. Let's have a conversation about it. I don't
Okay.
care that you didn't before.
Okay, so yeah, so I flirt more than I think, but in my situation, ass play does come up a lot. So I'll do the little flirting thing, and then they have that visceral reaction. Okay, and I'm like, okay, is that a hard limit, or is it? Are we just joking? Mm-hmm. And it was like, it's on the maybe list, and it's like, all right, until we have a negotiation, we will not do ass play, and that's how that's when I switch
would
over to
rather-
negotiation mode, right
But see,
there.
that's what I consider organic. I will organically have those conversations or organically let things grow, and because I feel that I get a more authentic read on them and a
But
more
wait,
authentic
did you plan on
answer.
talking about it though?
Well, I always plan on talking about everything.
I do
That's
too.
not organic.
I
Then.
bring up all my shit.
But-
I'm like,
but
hey,
how
I really
it
want to
gets
do
brought
this.
up is organic.
Like
I don't
it's-
have a sit-down conversation.
I say organic is you see a Facebook post randomly and it's like, oh, by the way, do you like this? If you plan on talking about it, that's not organic.
But every relationship you go into with preconceived idea of what you want to talk about.
That's not organic.
Here's mine. Mine's 50-50.
That's not organic.
And I'll see something and I'll be like, by the way, I am always 100% on board for any kind of bondage, and I'm not even going to be specific about what it is. You just tell me if you want to try something. I want to try this, 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 and this. If I haven't put something on that list I haven't thought of, you bring it up. I'll do it anytime.
Mm-hmm.
Bring it up at will whenever you want. We can do it.
Is that organic?
Okay.
Is that organic?
I was thinking my own thing.
What is that? What's your own thing?
My organic story. So I would just be like, hey, I was listening to this podcast one time. This guy was telling me about strippers in Hawaii. He was talking about this, and they have alcohol fully nude or whatever. And the guy was like, "Oh man, I saw this stripper, and she had a big old butt plug in her butt." And I was like, "Oh man, that'd be kind of cool to go in there." And whoever I'm talking to was like, "I'm not into ass play. Otherwise, that's
Yeah, it's
cool."
a
but
little bit of a test.
And I was like, "Oh, interesting. Okay, so you're not really you can." And so I'm like, "Is it hard limit or is it on the soft limits?" And they're like, "It's a maybe
So
depending
do you
on the
consider
person."
that organic?
Because I brought up the podcast. I
But do you
wasn't.
consider that an organic conversation?
Yes,
No.
but it's bait.
No, because I was just talking about it.
'Cause
I
you
wasn't.
baited
I
them.
was no. I wasn't even thinking about the ass play part. I didn't even think about that. So
You
that's
brought
why I
up
say
a butt plug without thinking about ass play.
because I was thinking about strippers.
He a lot of the time does that without thinking about a specific
I
partner.
was-
It's more just an interesting conversation.
Yeah,
and
I
like,
was
see your
focused on the
opinion
fact
on
that
it.
I had never seen a stripper with an ass plug, and I'm like, that's a great idea. Why do more
Yeah.
strippers not wear butt plugs?
And then he takes it
And
into
then-
conversation. And once somebody responds, then he's like, "Oh,
Oh.
they made it personal," and then
Yeah,
he keeps
I'm
it
like-
in the vault in his
and then
mind. So
me,
it came up.
me attracting codependent partners, they always bring it back to themselves. I'm like, where did that even come from? I wasn't even talking about you, but while we're talking about it, okay,
Yeah.
good note.
While we're not talking about you, let's talk about you.
Yeah,
I
it's
guess.
like, I wasn't even talking about it. I was talking about the strippers.
Same.
But yeah, if I'm in my head, like, I'm going to bring this up at some point, that's not organic.
No, it is.
It's not organic. You're thinking about it.
No, any relationship that I enter, I already know, like, probably half of the topics that are going to be had
You're
before
not,
we have it.
that's not organic.
That's not.
Life
That's a plan.
experience.
That's
That's
your
life
plan.
experience.
No, that's
Plan.
a
You're
plan.
telling me any woman that you meet online, okay? Any woman that you meet
You and I just
initially
agree on
online-
something. Hold on.
Wait a minute.
For the record,
Wait a minute.
you and
So
I agreed.
If
I'm
you
so proud.
are talking to her,
Her who?
you don't
Girl online?
already online girl. You don't already have an idea of what you want to talk about,
Correct.
but
That's not organic.
how it happens can be organic.
If you plan on it, that's not organic.
No, but you don't ever plan on when it's going to happen.
No, you are. No. No. If you plan on talking about these things, it's not organic. Organic is it just came up in the topic of conversation out of the blue.
I have to get over that, like, basically everything you and I talk about is organic. And then if I didn't bring it up and I thought it would happen organically, it never actually does.
No.
So if I don't bring it up, it doesn't get brought up.
Yeah, that's not
Like, now
that's
I
not organic.
have to plan to bring it up. Ugh. And then the regret of not having brought something up, thinking, like, I don't know if,
Did the barbed wire thing come up? You knew you liked barbed wire.
Oh, yeah. No, you know what?
And
Which
food
one
play.
came up? Sending nudes. Pictures. Swapping pictures.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think he likes that.
Didn't even.
And
think
he's
about that.
like, what do you mean? You never did it. I'm like, you mean I could have been sending these to you this whole time and, like,
Yeah.
sexting and stuff? And he's like, yeah, that's on you. And I'm like, I've been missing out on, like, a year where I could have been getting, savory
Right.
pictures back if I
Yeah.
send them.
See, that's something I don't
I'm
think
like,
about
God
because I
damn
don't
it.
really care. But yeah, if I'm thinking
See, I
about
think
like
he cares. So I was like,
Yeah.
and I was upset. I was like,
clothespins,
I'm comparative. I'm
oral
like, his other
sex,
partners are
rope,
I'm competitive.
Yeah.
all the things that I see that you're into. I see the stuff on your profile.
100%
I think
always
about
the
it.
reason I'm triggered.
But yeah, if you're planning on
Always.
you can't. That's not organic.
Yeah. I actually.
You can bring it up organically, quote unquote.
That's
I
what,
wanna
okay, so
hug.
maybe that's what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah,
It's not,
yeah, yeah,
so
I wanna
I guess
hug.
I'm saying it and thinking of two different things. 'Cause
Yeah.
I would rather not
I
have
need
to
to sit
have
next to you when we do this.
this
So I don't feel like
serious
shit.
Yeah.
sit down conversation about every fucking
Yeah.
thing.
If you're looking for an opportunity to bring it up naturally in conversation, then yes,
Okay.
that's good. But that's not organic because you thought about it. This is more like this. No, you can.
But, there,
I'm here
but
to
as
snuggle.
long as
No.
there's also, like, just to bring the conversation back around, there is also a distinct difference about us talking about it and us negotiating it.
Correct. There's foreplay. Yeah, foreplay.
There's foreplay and then there's negotiation.
Yeah.
And I seriously, like, I cannot stress enough, if you are getting into this lifestyle in any form, whether it be through poly, whether it be through kink, you need to talk about it. You need to get into the habit of communicating, because vanillas are not in the habit of communicating
Nope.
about anything. You just deal with it when it comes.
What's this quote? The saying, expectation is the killer of joy.
I don't know that I've heard that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
Something,
Yeah, something like
maybe? Yeah. So I think the negotiation,
Got to talk more, people.
you got to talk more. Like,
Gotta
and
talk more.
even if you practice with your vanilla friends, like, ask your friends, hey, do you guys ever talk about this before it happens? Like, when you're having girls' night or whatever. Because girls will talk when it's just girls. And be like, hey, do you ever talk about this, or does it just happen? I guarantee you, if it's vanilla girls, they'll be
Yeah.
like, no, it just happens. We
Yeah.
don't ever talk about that.
Yeah. And I got a little grip on that because they're the ones. Speaking of ass play, they'll just do it because their guy likes it or whatever. They're like, I don't really like it, but I do it just to make him happy. And it's like, why?
Because we all used to do that.
We all do
'Cause
that.
Trauma.
There's
There's
things
hashtag
that-
trauma, dog.
But see, you're
They're gonna
looking
leave
at
you.
it
It's
from
the
a
scarcity thing.
So you're looking at it from a sexual view. There's things that we all do that we don't necessarily enjoy, or
You
it's
do-
not our favorite.
you do
for-
anal just-
because it's
you don't
what
really
our
like it.
partner likes.
There's a difference between I don't really like it and it's something I hate.
That's a distinct difference.
Yes.
Okay.
I will tolerate things I don't necessarily like if I know it's really something they're
Yes.
into.
Yeah, he does
yes.
it all the time.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
that's
different than I
different.
don't like it.
I won't ever do anything I don't like
Yeah.
for the sake of somebody else. Now, I will encourage them to go find it with somebody else.
Yes.
Hold on. You ready?
Huh.
That's the difference with camping.
Yes.
Anal, he's like,
Yes.
I just tolerate it. Camping,
Yeah.
he did not want to go camping.
Did not want to
like
go camping.
zero and no.
Fuck your
I-
jersey.
fuck your jersey. Here's what I have to remember about my own relationship. Then this is therapy.
No,
Podcast-
yeah.
he went camping.
No,
He went
no,
camping
no.
for me.
He went camping for
He went
you.
camping with me and for me.
That's the relationship
Sweet.
soft limit right there. Depends on the person.
Sweet
Um,
camping.
But yeah,
All the
there's
things.
there's
Yeah.
stuff on the
There's
hard
like trauma
limits
around it.
and-
There's all kinds of things
all
around
the
camping.
things.
All
Yeah.
kinds of things. And he
like
went.
fishing. So
But I
What?
think if people
Fishing.
just actually and I'm
fishing is
guilty of this
traumatic.
too, because I hear the word and I have an immediate reaction to it. If somebody comes to me and says, "Hey, can we talk about something?" Yeah, sure, absolutely. Let's sit and talk. But if you came to me and said, "Hey, can we negotiate something real quick?" Now I'm serious. Now I'm coming at it from an entirely different
same.
perspective.
Yeah, like I'm gonna.
So-
this is a thing.
So this is the thing. Or if somebody comes
This
to
is
me
a
and
rule
goes, "Hey,
now."
can we have a conversation about something?" Completely different mindset going into it compared to, hey, do you have a minute to talk? Something came up and I want to be able to talk through it.
Which is also very different from, we need to talk.
We need to talk. Yes.
That's a
So
whole
I
nother-
also think that if you intend to
We
negotiate
need to
with
talk.
somebody, regardless of its sex, poly, kink, scene, whatever, make sure you're going in with the right intent.
And don't
Are
ever
you
try-
trying to have a
There's that word
casual
again.
conversation? Are you actually trying to, like, are you going in looking for a specific outcome? We need a decision about something before we end the conversation. Or are we just opening the dialogue?
It's all about intent, people. Got to watch that intent.
And so if you go to a
Not
partner
camping.
and say, hey, can we talk about something? And then you go to the same partner and go, hey, can we negotiate something? It's okay that you're going to get different responses. You're going to get a different reaction from them because they're automatically
You
going
hope
to have
you
a
will,
preconceived
almost. Yeah.
notion of what those things mean to me. I will react very differently to somebody saying, hey, can we negotiate something? Can we have a talk? Compared to, hey, I want to run something by you.
Back to obligation, then, I would think that since we're in this a little longer or whatever, I would think that since we're the ones who use different words, we have to tell them, hey, I want to specifically talk about negotiating. And the difference between
Yes.
me using that word and just saying, hey, I just wanted to open some dialogue is
You're right.
negotiation might be about your health and safety, your boundaries. It's a serious rule between the two of us.
We haven't engaged in this play yet.
It's
I want to
edgy.
talk about this specifically
Yes.
with you, what
Yes.
this looks like.
Yes.
What your
I need your
history
permission and your
is,
consent about this
you know,
thing.
Or
which is
like,
why I say
hey,
negotiation.
we're about to go to dinner. Like, can we talk about where we want to go, what we want to do, what's date night look like to us? To me, like, it's
Hard limit for Mr. Kitty Face. I don't know. Where do you want to go? Hey, what do you want to eat? I don't know. What do you feel like? Face.
The look.
Got
The
it.
face.
Make a fucking decision, damn it.
I got
Just
him.
the face.
I say like he'll ask me, what do you want to do for dinner? And I'm like, I really feel like this.
Yeah.
And if that's cool with him, you know,
Yeah.
or he can be like, no, but then he'll be like, okay, that's fine. I'm like, oh, there you go. I feel like this.
Yeah. But I think like people
works.
people who are not used to negotiating
I got him.
in a formal way need to understand that what terminology you use is going to get an initial reaction from somebody. So just be mindful.
Oh, if you
on
say the word
if
negotiate,
you say the word negotiate to your partner, you might get a completely different reaction than if you say, I'd like to talk about
I had a
this."
big problem with that when I first got into because I
'Cause
would
it's
say
so
things like, hey,
formal.
can we talk? Or I want to talk about
Yes.
this. And he's like, what do you mean? Or like, yeah, anytime. But maybe I meant negotiating.
Yeah.
Maybe it was something serious. Maybe it was a relationship talk. Maybe it was something I wanted to set boundaries or whatever. Yeah, and I might not have used the right language.
Sometimes the formality of the word can set a tone that you didn't intend to set.
that means too we need to teach people when somebody that's newish comes
Yeah.
in and says, oh, hey, I want to have a talk, and they can say, hey, do you want to talk about this? And that's negotiating. Do you want
Yeah.
to negotiate boundaries? Do you want to
if
just
you're
have
in a
a
kink
conversation?
space and you're about to do a thing with somebody, you're absolutely negotiating.
Yeah.
It's not just sitting down and having a chat.
No, tell them the word because they don't know.
You need to use the word negotiating. But
Yes.
if you've met a person online and you're chatting and something comes up that hasn't been discussed before, hey, are you open to talking about this?
Yeah, they
That's
might not.
completely different.
Yeah, there's two things. They might not know to use the word negotiating when they
Yeah.
are negotiating, and also they might say a word, or you might say, "Hey, I want to negotiate," and they might not understand what that means, and it's our responsibility, and we're under the obligation. There it is again
Yeah.
to tell them what the difference is.
And if you're new to this, then absolutely feel like you are over talking about what you physically are going to do with somebody.
Go ahead and be clingy.
Be a little over communicate.
Sound
Be worried about talking too much if you're doing a physical activity with them. If you're having a scene, if you're going to go to a swingers club
If you
together,
feel
if
like-
you're going to go to
Hold on, no, this is what
Opinions
it's about.
on the
This will
swingers
cover
club,
everything.
people.
If you feel like your emotional, psychological, or health and safety is on the line
have the talk.
in any way, you are negotiating.
Have the
You are
talk.
having a talk. Yeah, I'd like to
We're
negotiate
going to
this.
talk
It's
about
about
swingers
my
clubs and
emotional or psychological
Consent.
safety, my physical safety, my
Yeah.
boundaries. That is negotiating. And you do it in relationships too. Transfer that to your vanilla life.
what kind of risk do you
if
want to take?
And if you don't, in the beginning, if you like, I am not as big on using the word negotiating in conversation as say, Kitty over here,
Kitty face.
Kitty face over
Kitty
here.
face. Kitty
You know,
face.
it's okay if you don't call it that, if you feel safe and secure in where you guys are going and what you're doing. So don't feel that it's like, oh my gosh, we didn't negotiate this. But are you okay with what's going on? Do you feel safe still? Do you feel secure with what you're doing? Are you weird about what's going on? No? Okay, then it's okay that you didn't negotiate the crap out of it. You didn't do anything wrong. You're still learning. You're still
Whew,
getting
it
the
hurts though when
desired-
you miss it. And you're like, oh shit, it was a negotiation and I thought it was just an easy casual conversation, but I
Right.
fucked up and now I got my boundaries violated when I didn't realize I should have been using these different words.
Right.
And I didn't, you get so pissed when they don't call you out and say, hey, this sounds like negotiating boundaries. Is that what you mean?
that what we're
And they
doing?
don't say it. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. But I just also want to put out there, like, don't stress
You
yourself
should have
out
said
about
that.
the fact
Oh,
that
no.
if you don't call it a negotiation, like, but things still went well, that you still did something
When they
wrong.
went
You
well, that's
didn't.
fine. When they
it
go
goes
south, you're going to feel
But just
real
like we
bad.
talked about earlier when we started the conversation, if I bring roulette guy back to my room and he goes to put his hands on my throat while we're
Yeah.
having fun times and I move his hands, I'm not feeling bad about myself because I feel like I didn't negotiate, because
But he might feel bad about himself
this is
that
he
he
might,
didn't
and we
realize
can talk
he
about
didn't
that
negotiate.
afterward. But like,
Oh no, if he's
I'm okay
sensitive, he's
with,
gonna remember that forever.
you know. So it's
He's gonna be like, I fucked up, and I'm never gonna forget it.
right. I think one of the things I appreciate the fact that this community puts such a heavy emphasis on negotiation and consent across the board. I will never say anything contrary to
That's
that.
the standard for
statement.
every.
It is the standard for
relationship.
everything. However, there are so many different levels to it based on the interactions that you're having with people, based on the activities that you're doing with people, that just because we preach it and we live by it doesn't mean that there's not grace with it.
And we fuck up.
yes.
Oh man, and you might fuck up.
yes.
and
No,
if-
you will.
You will
Everybody
fuck up.
will to a point.
We've all fucked up.
There's been plenty of times where
What's
I
the
should not
gravity of
have
the
made
fuck
it.
Yeah, yeah, same.
So,
And what's the best way to learn?
experience by failing.
By
You're not going to
failing.
learn until you fail.
Yeah. We're just
There's
trying to
no-
stop. You know what we're trying to do? We're not going to be able to prevent you from failing. We're just trying to soften the
There is zero
blow.
way to navigate any part of this lifestyle or any alternative lifestyle without messing up.
Yeah, we're just trying to soften the blow for you guys. It's going to happen.
On that note,
On that note,
On that note, our time is
what are
up.
we talking about? Oh, negotiating. Yeah, do your best. Be
We've
compassionate. Be
encountered a
empathetic.
storm. People
negotiate
would-
with intent.
Negotiate
Have the
with
best
intent.
of intentions.
Have the best of
Yeah.
intentions.
Be very clear. Don't be
Yes.
afraid to voice your opinion because
Intent.
you think they're going to leave.
And consider their emotional and psychological and physical safety.
Yeah.
And know that when you're talking about that, it's a negotiation and make that
well,
serious.
and just understand that you're talking to another human.
Goddamn human.
You're talking to a human.
Yeah. This might be your
Expect them
partner.
to have reactions and opinions.
Yes. And be kind.
Yeah, we've encountered a storm. You might not even hear this because we've been lost at sea. Clouds are dark. There's fog earlier.
We're still on the cruise ship.
We're
You
still
heard
on the
last
cruise
episode.
ship.
We're on a
Hopefully
cruise.
you enjoyed your turkey without us because we've been at sea for months and months.
Oh, stop.
Gobble, 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 gobble. All right, so this has been
holiday episodes.
another episode of
Around the Kinky Campfire.
Fires That Are
Thanks
Kinky.
for
Yeah,
downloading.
Campers.
we're not gonna
Campers.
listen to you.
Thank you
This
again.
is Dame.
This is Esme
Mr. Bubbles McKittyface.
signing out.
And we'll talk to you next time. We'll have more conversations. We're going to negotiate some more probably
Yeah,
at some
sure.
point.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Hello.
All right.
And goodbye.
See you guys.